Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQA Nostalgia here with some Pantheon Rise of the Fallen news. The map for the continent of Celestius is now viewable on the website, and I don't know about you guys, but I personally love maps. I love to look at them and study them and just get a feel for all the zones that are going to be in that area. So what I want to do right now is just read for you guys what's on the website right now, a little bit of the lore about Celestius. Celestius is one of the largest and most diverse continents on the world of Terminus. Many of the world's greatest empires have thrived here for 3 centuries following the first wave of planar collisions. This continent is also known for the ancient ruins of the Celestial Empire that appear in nearly every region as well as in a sundered region called the Wastes. With the second wave of planar collisions erupting upon Terminus and the Lost Goddess vanished, the lands of Celestius have been thrown into chaos. New forms of magic, new threats both mortal and divine, and old foes emerging in times of opportunity. This is the world fallen now rise upon. So it would appear this is where everybody's going to be starting the game and will be the main continent for the game. So for those of you familiar with EverQuest Online Adventures, this is essentially going to be our Ternaria, and for those of you from EverQuest 1, this will be our Antonica. Okay, so I'm going to go into a little bit of detail of the areas that are on the map right now, and I'm assuming that these orange circles that we're seeing here are towns or cities, major towns or cities. Hopefully they are starting towns for the races, or starting cities for the races rather, because everybody that I know that is into the old school games really misses starting cities and racial cities. That just seems to be something that pretty much everybody wants to see return to MMORPGs. Okay, so the first region I want to talk about is King's Reach. The rolling hills and humble thickets of King's Reach are the home to humans known as brigands. It is from the throne city of Archway that this kingdom defends against the undead foes that they once defeated 2 centuries before. And you can see right here, the city of Archway. I'm going to assume that this is going to be a starting city for humans. Now there are going to be several different types of humans, so I'm assuming that they are going to start in several different locations. Which kind of reminds me of the Kinosian humans and the Freeport humans from EverQuest Online Adventures. Okay, so next up is the Plains of Triandia. Megalithic stone formations and mighty guard towers dominate the vast savanna of the Plains of Triandia. Once wild, yet tranquil, this grassland has become a war ground between invading giants and the Knights of Triandia. So the only starting city I see anywhere near here is Hydrona. I don't know if that's going to be part of this area, or maybe this is just going to be a wide open zone where nobody starts. Okay, so that brings us to Marada. Humid and rocky, the crumbling steeps of Marada are the homeland of the Maritan Empire, a warrior tribe of humans that once fought for Triandia, but has since chosen to reclaim former glory as the most powerful army in Celestius. So just northeast of Marada you can see a place called Orantha, and northeast of that you can see a place called Strontia. So I'm guessing that there's going to be 2 different starting areas for this place here. Now they might not be starting cities, they might just be cities in general, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that they will be racial cities to start in. And the reason I'm going to assume that is because that's what I want. That's exactly what I want from this game. Next up we have the Wastes. Floating rock, fractured land, and endless ruins. This magical wasteland is the remnants of the ancient Celestial Empire and origins of the mythical war wizards. It is here that revenant hordes have been called by whisperers of Meraxes. It's another one of those words that I'm not entirely certain about, but I'm going to go with Meraxes. Or maybe it's Meraxes. I don't know, guys. I have no idea. I'm trying. Most of the effort that's going into this video is trying to pronounce all of this shit properly, and I know I'm doing a terrible job, so. And next up we have Bogash Hills. With a stench that could drop a thunder rhino, Bogash Hills is a wretched and mucky territory no Terminusian desires to enter. The hills with their tufts of thorny foliage are barriers to adventurers, but defenses to the goblin tribes that call this home. So essentially I believe that's going to be like our Guk, or Grab, or Agak, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be that swampy, crappy, frog-lock infested area. Obviously they're not going to have frog locks, but yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. And in terms of cities or starting cities, it doesn't look like anybody wants anything to do with that area because it's so disgusting and vile. It also kind of reminds me of Runny Eye because they said there's going to be goblins there, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to be making that their home but goblins. So, yes, that is going to be a very nasty area where you go to bash in goblin skulls and take their loots. Okay, so this next part's a little hard to pronounce, but I'm going to give it my best. The Felmers is a grand forest filled with titanic trees that touch the sky and whose vast roots create a wondrous underworld. Once peaceful, the forest world is now on the brink of war as the alliance between the Etrian nations has been shattered by new opportunities and arcane corruptions. Now, this area is very interesting, and I'm going to go ahead and speculate a little bit that this is where the two elves are going to come from. Possibly the wild elves or the wood elves are going to come from Aramithia, and the dark elves are going to come from Uramithia. It's just a guess, but you have a lake here that kind of serves to divide those two cities. And yeah, just it would be very interesting if they had, once been one tribe and then they split up and started going their separate ways and founded two different cities and they go to war with each other now and then. That would be really cool. But yeah, that's just a guess. Okay, so just off to the east we have Blackwood. This was once a part of the Great Felmers until the dragon armies of Skyfend set it ablaze with an arcane fire that turned the emerald to black. But the halflings and their superior agrarian but the halflings and their superior agrarian talents arrived to seed new life, creating a vibrant realm within the charred husks of titanic trees. Alright, so essentially what we have here is Rivervale, and they're calling the city here Hollowdown. So yeah, that's going to be kind of like our Rivervale. I gotta tell you, I really like what I'm seeing here. And I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking the same thing. It's very familiar to EverQuest fans and EverQuest Online Adventures fans. And that's a good thing because that's what they're trying to go for, right? Okay, so now we're going to head up north to Icehammer Steeps, a land of frozen tundra and icy pines. The Icehammer Steeps is a harsh frozen land where only the strong survive. It is here that the ogre god Drodin has arrived to unite his warring clans or crush them under his merciless maul. I'm going to guess this is where the ogres are coming from. And, I would say barbarians because it reminds you of permafrost and Hollis and all that stuff. But it appears that the ogres are going to be our frostbitten race, if you will. Which makes sense if you take a look at this city called Tusk up here. Tusk and ogres and just kind of makes sense. It goes hand to hand. And then you can see the Frostfell peaks over here off to the right. Now maybe that is where Lady Vox spawns. I don't know. Possibly, but you guys can definitely see the similarities here. And speaking of Frostfell peaks, the divine realm of the frost giant Pantheon forged the coldest region on Celestius, the mountain range of Frostfell peaks. Magical in nature, these peaks are unimaginable and often defy mortal logic. Very, very interesting area to say the least, and I think I'm probably going to spend an awful lot of time up here killing frost giants and the like. Alright, so that brings us to the Strontian Mountains, boasting the longest mountain range in Celestius as well as the richest. The Strontian Mountains are the kingdom of the dwarves. This is my first time reading this, so that was genuine excitement. The natural defenses and master engineering of the dwarves has kept this realm safe until a new threat arrived from below. That right there is an old school thing with dwarves, and I mean that's like some Tolkien-esque stuff right there. They dug too deep and too greedily, and a dragon came up and started whooping their ass. That's very old school, so it's cool to see that. So there you have it. Now we know what Strontia is. I was kind of wondering what that was a moment ago. But you have to keep in mind that I'm trying to get this out to you guys as quickly as possible, and this information was pretty much just released about 45 minutes ago. So yeah, I'm kind of learning as I go along here. Okay, so next up is Dead Ridges. Dead Ridges is a massive graveland where thousands of tombs and vast mausoleums have been carved into its steep cliffs. This haunted land once was claimed by a revenant nation that has since collapsed into crusading hordes. And you can see the city here of Eternus. This is a very interesting area, and thinking about it, this is probably where I'm going to start. I've always liked zombies and I always like the whole undead thing. So I'm definitely going to want to roll one of those ASAP. As soon as the game goes live, I'm probably going to be rolling one of those, and hopefully it's going to be a necromancer, but that remains to be seen. Okay, so next up we have the Oasis style area, the desert of Amoka. Badlands, shifting sands, and endless dunes. The expansive and arcane desert of Amoka has long been the refuge of the mystical Athosians. With the new planar collision came new foes, and so the invasion of the Orc Empire began here from isles afar. Now you can see the city down here is called Mirage, and I cannot wait to get down there and start looking for some frost giants, possibly some crocs, and possibly some desert madmen. Okay, so last up we have the Skyfend Mountains. The volcanic peaks of Skyfend Mountains dominate the skies of all of Terminus. This infernal realm would sear the flesh of most mortals, but has remained the homeland of dragonkin and other magical beings. So it would appear that this is a very unfriendly area. You're not going to see any starting cities there, or any cities for that matter. And there is a big badass dragon being represented there. So this is probably going to be a raid zone, or at least some high level content. So I think that covers just about everything on the map, guys. That is Celestius, and I can't wait to get in there and start exploring this land. I am looking forward to getting a more detailed map that hopefully will show all the small individual zones, possibly even some of the camps, and showing the levels and stuff like that. Maybe something like Vanguard. They might show us camps, level 1 through 15 or something like that. I don't know if it's going to be based along those lines. I do very much enjoy the way Vanguard did break down their zones and show you where everything was. So hopefully they'll do that with this game as well. But yeah, man, I don't know about you guys, but this got me fired up. This is something that I definitely wanted to see, and it has me ready to go out there and explore. And damn it, I really want to play EQA right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, and I'm gonna go play Vanguard. I thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.